part of a community and also has also helped build community, queer community, Latinx community, trans community, and it's been amazing to watch the way that individual artists are emerging, but still part of a scene and still part of a community and a collective.
I was lucky to have a lot of mentors as soon as I got here. People who took me under their wing, who were also club promoters, but also like helped me meet a lot of people and get my music out further.
Like, what were some of the clubs?
Mustache Mondays, Scum, and then there was this party called Cool World that I don't think happens anymore.
Like any good cool world, it's over.
Exactly.
And so, where did you? How do you fit your own performance as a solo artist within that sense of community?
All of those had a lot of drag and a lot of like experimental kind of performance art kind of things, and I feel like that's been very inspirational for me to watch and to integrate into my performances.
Wonderful. And Cesar, since you've been in LA, you got very involved in the still very powerful Son Jarocho scene in East Los Angeles, in Boyle Heights, for example, Eastside Cafe, and lots of other places where Son Jarocho was taking off. Could you talk about what it was like being from Veracruz, coming to Los Angeles, and working with Chicanos, Mexican Americans who are engaging with music from Mexico, and what that did in East Los Angeles?
Well, back in 2001 is when I met and learned about the Chicana community, and little by little understanding, because as Mexican and from Veracruz, I didn't know anything. We just thought it was from the border up, gringos, and that's it. I don't care if you speak English, forget about it. So it was a great learning experience, and knowing that there are people that they're conscious there. We agree on a lot of political things. Especially the Zapatismo. Back in 1994 in Veracruz, Mexico, sorry, in Chiapas, Chicanos were very involved in that, especially the ones that I met, that generation. And it was a natural blend at that point. That's how it felt, because Fandango offered a dynamic that allowed the musicians to play at the same level of everyone. Like here, stage and audience, it's like we are more at the same level. And Jarochos, well, it was exciting to know these people and traveling, honestly, having these connections and having productions and I mean, sharing resources. We had cultural resources, different others to add to the culture here. And they had, I mean, you know what we have here, all this technology, and that's very helpful for us too, and more experience in different aspects to learn from each other. So when I came to LA, when I decided to stay, well, invited by Quetzal, I met Xochi, and then we married, and the story goes into a love story. We have family. But that made it just, I have to say, easy. Easy because without community, I would be lost. I mean, I wouldn't move. It was something that it felt truth in the community. They wanted to learn. They showed respect. I saw it. I was like, okay, I can teach and I can share this. And on and on.
One of the joys and risks of tradition and community, of course, is that you collectively buy in to a tradition, that the goal is to maintain that tradition and maintain that community. At the same time, I imagine that there's desires to experiment and to mess with tradition. Sancha, if you listen to your music, you hear traditional ranchera, you hear mariachi, but you also hear artists who I know you were influenced by, who definitely don't fit those molds, like a Gloria Trevi, for example. Like, could you talk about how you approach these really heavy traditions with long histories while turning them inside out?
I like to strip everything down to its core, because I like very tiny ideas. So I'm like, I really like the melodies and rancheras, and I like that they can use like major chords that are usually happy, but they're always very sad melodies, and it still like gets you right here, you know, and that's what I try and implement while I'm songwriting. Like I love these melodies. How do I take that those skills and apply them to this other way that I write music, you know? And just trying to use small ideas all together.
So one of the songs that I think connects some of these stories in important ways, from Veracruz to Mexico City to Long Beach to Pacoima, is a song that originates in Veracruz that I'm sure people know, called La Bamba. And Cesar, could you talk? This is just, the story of the song. I think is way more complicated than most people know. Could you talk a little bit about its roots in Veracruz?
Wow, what I heard is from the 1700s, when the pirates used to attack the las costas, the coast, and the port, because that's where it was the main entrance to the Americas, and it was a very important, and a lot of wealth was there. So yeah, pirates sent by Holandeses. Holland, from Holland?
Dutch, yeah.
Dutch. There was there, specifically Lorencillo was there, and we have a couple songs. One is called La Candela, who names Lorencillo, and then La Bamba, that talks about arriba, arriba, arriba iré. You know, it's a cheer, it's a chant. And I met in a wedding a person from Africa, a Mandinga, whose name was Bamba, and we were in the line getting drinks, and I saw him, I was like, hi. So what's your name? Bamba. I was like, wait, I have to ask. Because, I mean, reading books and hearing historians is nice, but this guy is from Africa and his name is Bamba, so I have to ask you because I told a story about Veracruz. And it's like, okay, well, Bamba means resilience. It's a Mandinga word, and there's a language that we speak that is Bambara. I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to take notes because my mind is going to go somewhere else right now.
And Veracruz was a key slave port in Mexico with a heavy African presence.
And he was from Costa de Marfil, called, how do you call it? Costa de Marfil?
Ivory Coast.
Ivory Coast. So it was an amazing story that I heard, and I was like, oh, okay, that makes more sense to me when I sing La Bamba now, not resilience, this small town that resists. And that's how I am with this instrument. I'm like resisting all kinds of things that come to you in life. So. And
then it's a song that leaves Veracruz, eventually goes to Mexico City, gets popularized at Ciro's nightclub, gets commercialized, finds its way to New York to the Stork Club, and Arthur Murray does an early La Bamba version until we get probably the most famous U.S. version by Richie Valens. Who records it in, from Pacoima, but records it originally in the Silver Lake Garage, and then in a Hollywood recording studio. And then Los Lobos cover it. Lots of other stories, but it's a song that carries all these histories of enslavement from Africa, indigenous roots in Mexico, Spanish conquest, Mexican immigration to Southern California, Mexican-American identity, and on and on. And it's a song that's always improvised. Or it has heavy improvisation in it.
I mean, the whole genre is about it.
Improvisation.
Yes.
So I thought it'd be really fun tonight to see if we could improvise La Bamba here.
With Sancha?
I warned them this would happen. But we're going to need your support and help. But are you guys down to try to create an on-air LA La Bamba?